Hello, coming to you from Bombay and bringing to you a story from Nepal. The story is called Give Us Rice, and the story happens in a tiny village far away from the capital city, Kathmandu. Once upon a time, there was a farmer, his wife, their five married sons, and their wives. This was a very hardworking and industrious farming family. Every day at the crack of dawn, this farming family got up. The five sons and the five wives went to the farm where they sowed the seeds, where they tilled the land, where they harvested beautiful golden husks of rice, and they came back home every evening bone weary and tired. The old man and his wife took care of the house and managed things around. However, the mother was a bit of a stingy person. No, the mother was rather small hearted, and every day what she gave her hard-working children and their wives for food was not the fluffy rice that was lying in the barns, but she gave them sticky, smelly, and very gooey cornflour paste. Who likes cornflour paste? Do you like cornflour paste? I don't like it. And every day for breakfast, for lunch, and even dinner, they had cornflour paste, day in and day out. Now the wives loved the rice in the barns that they grew every day. They dreamt about the rice. They dreamt about the soft, fluffy pillows of rice which they never got to eat. However, one day matters came to head. The wives returned home with their husbands after really hard and grueling day at work. They were tired, bone weary. They just wanted to sit and eat good food, scrumptious food. However, all they got was sticky, gooey, and smelly cornflour paste. All the five wives just tossed the bowl aside. And they were sad. They were in tears. They were frustrated. But then suddenly, the youngest one, who was also the smartest one, came up with this smart plan. She said, "Listen to me, sisters." And she told them about her plan. Now, if they agree, and they all agreed to the plan. So the next day, when the entire family was sleeping and the world was silent, they silently tiptoed out of the house. They ran quickly towards the barn and they opened the floorboards. They squeezed in somewhere inside the barn, picked up husks of rice, which they had put in earlier in the day, ran to the field. They boiled the rice. They cleansed the rice. They cleansed the rice. They boiled the rice. And they ate the rice. And the rice was yummy. They finished it entirely. And they ran back home, slept on their beds, a beautiful, dreamless sleep, stomachs full, hearts happy. Now, this went on for the next few days, and the wives got smarter. Do you know what they did? They started going to the local market and they started selling the rice, exchanging it for vegetables, for fresh fruit and pulses, and much more. Now, every day, the girls had a feast. Rice, pulses, vegetables, fruits, name it, they ate it. And it was yummy. Days turned into months, and months turned into a year. And like all good things, this too had to come to an end. One day, the barn was empty. There was no rice in the barn. And this time, the wives were scared. They were petrified. What if their husbands caught them? What if their mother-in-law got angry? What if their father-in-law yelled at them? Oh, what to do? Suddenly, the third wife, the quiet one, the calm one, came up with a plan. And the rest of them agreed this was their only way out. And I really mean only way out of this mess. So the next night, when the family was sleeping and the world silent once again, the women slowly crept out of their beds. They ran quietly and steadily into the corner room of the house where they'd already made their preparations. They had kept grotesque makeup, which they quickly applied on each other's faces. They had shabby clothes, kept aside. They wore the shabby clothes and they looked monstrous and grotesque. Soon they were ready to scare you away. And slowly they made their way into the house, passed by the kitchen, and then they stuck them. They need to make a little noise. So they picked up odd pots and pans and spoons and went into their mother-in-law and father-in-law's room. They pushed open the door and jumped around the bed. The sleeping couple suddenly woke up with a start and they looked around. All they could see was covered faces, hideous faces, scary faces. And they heard strange noises, clanging of drums coming. They were scared. They were too scared to even take their heads out from under the sheet. And suddenly they heard this voice, "Give us rice, give us rice. It's so nice, it's so nice. Give us more, give us more. We'll break your door, we'll break your door. Give us rice, give us rice." The mother-in-law quivered, the father-in-law shivered. She threw the key to the barn and threw it far away from her bed. The monsters, aka the daughter-in-laws, grabbed the key, ran out of the room, laughing hideously. And she heard the barn door open and she couldn't hear any more after that. Next morning, when the birds started chirping and there was a little ray of sunlight coming into the room, the scared mother and father got up and went out of their room. She checked with her children if they heard any noises the last night. Laughingly, slightly giggly, but a little scared, the daughter-in-law said no, and the sons shook their head. They were fast asleep. And when the children went to work, scared couple slowly but steadily went into the barn, and lo behold, when they pushed the door, it was empty. There was nothing in the barn. And the mother-in-law sat. She fell down in a heap. She cried, she wailed. Her heart was broken. There was nothing in the barn. The monsters had looted the entire barn. It was bereft, empty. The father-in-law stood up. He looked at her and said, "You could have fed us all this food. You never gave us any of this food. Now look, silly woman, the monsters have eaten it away. Our children could have eaten it. We could have eaten it, but the monsters took it. Now don't do this again. Never be stingy. Never have a small heart." The mother-in-law understood, and she swore from that day that she would give her children the food they deserved. So from that day, she had a change of heart. She made rice, she got pulses, she had fresh vegetables, she had fruits, and she fed her hard-working children well every day. Soon, everyone was happy, and because they were happy, they worked harder. They grew prosperous. They again had barns full of beautiful golden husks of rice. So, they stayed together, they worked together, and were happy. And the daughter-in-laws never had to plan any nefarious things again. They never had to go and get more rice out of the barn without anyone knowing. Thank you.